Samantha stepped off the bus, an old backpack on her shoulder, worn-out sneakers, faded jeans. No one paid her any attention. And that's exactly how she wanted it. The town was too quiet, quiet enough to make your skin crawl. Red Rock sat in the heart of Missouri, a tiny rural town with 3,000 people. Everyone knew everything about everyone. She'd just moved in with her dad. He worked as the janitor at the high school. They rented a house beside the gas station. Cramped, damp, but it worked. Samantha never asked for much, just wanted peace. No more being called her old name. No more whispers behind her back. No more pity in people's eyes. First day at Red Rock High, no one smiled or said hello, just side glances and judgment, especially from the trio in the center. Tyler, Luke, and Derek, the three loudest boys in school, varsity jackets, flashy watches, all from rich families, loud laughs, bigger egos, always in charge, just like the group that used to bully her, back at the old school, back where her mom had died. Samantha didn't want to go through that again. She picked a seat in the back, stayed quiet, head down, avoided every pair of eyes. But in Red Rock, silence was blood to predators. Lunch break, cafeteria packed. Samantha bought the cheapest meal, cold pizza, cheap soda. She looked for a quiet corner. Then Tyler stepped in her way, tall, built like a linebacker, and that smile full of contempt. "Hey, you Dwight's kid." Samantha said nothing, the janitor guy. His friends burst out laughing. "You bring your mop with you. Want me to buy you a broom?" Still, Samantha stayed silent, but her hands clenched tight. Tyler noticed that, and he didn't like being ignored. He shoved her tray, the drink spilled, soaked her clothes, hit the floor. "Oops, clumsy me." He turned and walked away, leaving behind laughter and a frozen Samantha, not from fear, but from familiarity. She gritted her teeth. Not this time, not this place. She wouldn't let it happen again. That afternoon, she walked home alone, her shirt still damp. Her dad was wiping windows on the porch. He saw her coming, didn't say a word, just looked down. He knew, because he'd been through it. Not once, not twice, but all his life. Dinner was silent, a piece of bread, a bowl of beans, no conversation, just the soft hum of the old TV. She climbed the stairs, closed her bedroom door. On the wall was an old photo, Samantha at 12 wearing gloves, in a martial arts uniform. Beside her, a young woman with kind eyes. She was gone now, killed in a car accident, her mom. The first person who taught her to stand tall, who once said, "The strong don't need to fight, but when you do, fight like your life depends on it." Samantha opened her drawer, pulled out an old pair of gloves, stared at them. She remembered the ring. No one mocked her there. No one called her trash. She didn't want to go back. But if this was how things were now, maybe she couldn't stay silent. That night, Samantha went online, looked up an old number. "Coach Mason's gym, Seattle. I need to train again," she typed. "Not to fight someone, just to remember who I am." The phone rang. A voice answered. "Sam, is that you?" His voice trembled. "You're alive. That's all that matters." Samantha paused, then spoke just 3 words. "I'm ready now." The next morning it rained lightly. Red Rock was wrapped in a cold fog. Samantha pulled up her hood and walked, still clutching that old backpack, wearing her dad's worn-out coat, frayed, stained, but it kept her warm. At school, nothing changed. The looks, the whispers, the fake loud laughs. Tyler walked past her, that same smug grin on his face. "Hey there, little mop girl." His buddies burst out laughing. Samantha just kept walking. No reaction, no turning around. She knew it wasn't time yet. Not yet, but soon. She sat in the back of history class. The teacher called, "Roll, Samantha Lee. Here, you're new, right?" "Yes, sir. Your dad works here, doesn't he?" A few snickers echoed across the room. The teacher didn't say a word, didn't scold anyone, just kept lecturing. She understood. She'd seen it before. Big city or small town, same story. When you're poor, you don't have a voice. At recess, she went to the library, the quietest place in school. She checked out an old martial arts book. The handwriting inside made her smile, old notes from when her mom was still alive. Every move was paired with a lesson. You don't need to win, just stand. Never strike from anger. Strike only when you are protecting what's right. She took the book home, started training in the backyard. No mat, no coach, just dirt ground and cold wind. But her body remembered. Punches, blocks, dodges. Her limbs ached. Sweat soaked through her shirt. But she didn't stop. Every afternoon after school, she trained until nightfall. Her dad noticed. He didn't say much, just handed her a bottle of cold water. "What are you doing, Sam?" "I don't know, but I can't just sit around anymore." A week passed. Tyler kept at it, throwing paper balls at her head, filming her from behind, tripping and blaming her. She didn't react, but she recorded everything. Every video, every word, all stored in a private folder. One day, it would come in handy. One Friday afternoon, she was eating alone in the cafeteria. Then someone sat beside her. A girl with curly brown hair, brown eyes, a worried face. "Your name's Sam, right?" "Yeah, I'm Ella. They're messing with you. I know. I used to be a target too." Samantha looked at her. "Are you still scared?" Ella nodded. "I never told anyone. They have people backing them. Tyler's dad is the principal. Derek's mom's on the school board. Luke's just chasing views with his videos. Everyone's scared of them." Samantha set down her spoon. "Do you want to stop being scared?" Ella's eyes widened. "Yes. But what do I do?" "Stand with me. I'm not asking you to fight. I just need someone who won't look away." Ella didn't answer right away. Then she nodded. That night, Samantha opened her laptop, uploaded a short video, no names, no faces, just her. Punching a heavy bag, each strike sharp, precise. The background sound a ticking clock. Then a line appeared. "You think you know me, you don't." By morning, the video was everywhere. Whispers filled the school halls. "The janitor's kid knows how to fight. That's her, no way." Tyler watched the clip and laughed. "Hilarious. She thinks she's dangerous mop girl, wants to play tough. Maybe I should throw a broom at her face." But Tyler wasn't just laughing. He was pissed. He wanted to put Samantha in her place. He started planning something for Monday, a little fun out in the schoolyard. But what Tyler didn't know was that Monday wouldn't go the way he thought, because that would be the day Samantha stopped being silent. Monday came faster than she expected. Samantha walked through the school gates like always. The sun peeked through the rooftops. The air smelled like tension. She could feel it. Something was coming. Students stared at her, half curious, half sorry. Ella walked beside her silent, her fingers clenched tightly around her backpack strap. Samantha stepped into the central courtyard. Right in the middle was a huge board, covered in cruel photoshopped images. Shots of her holding a mop bucket, standing next to a garbage bin. Big red letters screamed across the top, "Janitor Girl of the Year." Beneath it, Derek's channel logo. Over 100 students surrounded the scene. Some laughed, some filmed. Tyler stood in the center with arms wide, like a performer on stage. "Welcome to Sam's big debut, Miss Mop's red carpet moment." Laughter exploded across the courtyard, loud, cruel, unforgiving. Samantha walked forward, slow and steady. Not a word. Ella reached out to stop her. Samantha shook her head. She kept walking, stopped just a few steps from Tyler. "Having fun?" Tyler, her voice was soft but sharp, a blast. "Thanks for showing up. Want to make it even more fun? You got something planned, just you and me, one-on-one. No crowd, after school, 4 o'clock, behind the gym." Tyler burst out laughing, a janitor's kid challenging me to a fight. "Sure, I love stupid games. What time again?" 4. "Don't chicken out. You think I'm scared of you?" "No. I think you're overconfident." She turned and walked away, leaving behind stunned faces, and a smirking Tyler who had no idea what was coming. Classes dragged by like heavy clouds. Everyone whispered about the showdown. Derek even made a mock poster, "Battle of the Mop versus Muscle." His followers skyrocketed within hours. But Samantha didn't care. This wasn't about views. It was about ending something. After school, she walked to the backfield, left her coat in the locker, wore a plain black tee and track pants, shoes tied tight, hair tied up high. On her wrist, a faded cloth bracelet, her mother's, the last piece of her. She closed her eyes, breathed in, calm, focused, not angry, just ready. Tyler showed up in flashy sneakers, wearing fingerless gloves. Grinning like victory was already his. Derek stood behind him, phone recording. Ready, Princess Mop, simple rules. First one down loses. No face hits, no cheap shots. Fine, Samantha nodded. Derek counted down 3, 2, 1. Tyler charged like a storm, his fist aimed straight for her face. She sidestepped half a breath early. His punch grazed her cheek. She spun low, swept his leg with her left, struck his gut with her right. Tyler staggered, his face changed. The confidence cracked. Lucky hit. He growled and lunged again. This time she didn't step back. She blocked with her elbow, spun with a sweeping kick. Tyler fell hard into the grass. Derek shouted behind the phone, "Get up, don't lose to her." Tyler stood, eyes burning red, no more plans, just blind rage. He lunged like a beast, but she was ready. She stepped aside, drove her elbow into his shoulder. He stumbled. She spun again, a roundhouse kick to the thigh. Tyler dropped to his knees, gasping for air. Had enough, Samantha stood over him. Enough. He gasped between ragged breaths. She stepped closer, reached out her hand, pulled him up. Her eyes held no hate, only clarity. This isn't because I'm strong, it's because you always thought everyone else was weak. Derek stopped recording, his face pale. No one spoke, just the wind brushing across the roof tiles. Samantha walked away. No need to win, she just needed to see that even monsters can feel fear. The rumors spread overnight, from coffee shops to locker halls, from the basketball team to the art kids. Everyone had heard Tyler got beat, not by someone big, but by the janitor's daughter. Online, the video disappeared within an hour. Derek claimed it was a technical glitch, but it was too late. Dozens had already re-uploaded it. It spread beyond Red Rock. College forums picked it up, pinned to their front pages. Girl who took down the principal's son. When arrogance backfires, don't mess with people you don't understand. The principal called Samantha to his office. She sat across from his old wooden desk. He looked at her through thick glasses. You understand this is serious, yes, sir? You assaulted another student. I defended myself. Tyler has a minor leg injury. I didn't hit his face, didn't break anything. But you brought bad attention to the school or to you. He paused. No student had ever talked to him like that. You're sharp for your age. I don't like being treated like trash. I just want to study in peace. Then why didn't you come to me? Because you're his father. The room grew heavy. Samantha stood up. I'm not sorry, but I'll take the consequences, as long as everyone else does too. She walked out. No fear, no regrets. That afternoon, Ella found her. You didn't get suspended. Not yet, you're brave. If you don't push back, nothing changes. Ella sat beside her. I want to speak up too. About being pressured to send photos. Samantha looked at her gently. You're not alone, and you deserve to be protected. Ella nodded, eyes red. The next day brought a surprise. Ms. Dawson, her English teacher, walked up. I saw the video. I don't condone violence, but I do support truth. You need to keep standing, Sam. Not just for yourself, but for others too. She placed a hand on Samantha's shoulder. You're more than a student now. You're becoming a symbol. A symbol. The word echoed in Samantha's mind. She never wanted to be famous. She just wanted to live quietly. But maybe fate had other plans. That night, she got a text from an unknown number, just 2 lines. You think you've won? You don't know the whole story yet. Her back went cold, hands trembled slightly. She typed, "Who is this?" No reply came. The next day, truth was twisted. An anonymous blog published a long post with a headline in bold red, "The Dark Past of Samantha Lee." The post revealed her mother's death, her martial arts training in Seattle, claimed she'd been expelled for violence, even said she'd hospitalized someone. They posted a photo from her mother's funeral with cruel captions beneath it. No surprise, she loves to fight. Born from the woman she killed in that crash. Lies, but they spread like wildfire. The school buzzed with gossip. Some believed it, others weren't sure, and Samantha said nothing. She walked home in pouring rain, hair soaked. She passed the gas station, the old bakery, then stopped at the crumbling wall, the one where she and her mother once took pictures. She sat down, face buried in her knees, tears mixed with the rain. Her dad found her at dusk, carrying a broken umbrella. He didn't say much, just sat beside her, arm gently wrapping around her shoulder. No one lives without being misunderstood. They called me useless. They called your mom crazy, but they knew nothing. And you? You're the best thing we ever had. Don't let one article define you. You're still her Samantha. She looked up, raindrops still falling, but in her eyes, a new spark had just lit. Monday morning, Samantha walked into school like usual, head high, eyes forward, no more shrinking, no more hiding. Some students avoided her gaze. Some smirked, but no one said a word. She'd become something they didn't dare touch. In the main hallway, the bulletin board was full. Announcements, club invites, and right in the center, a plain white A4 paper with bold text. We're not afraid anymore. We're ready to speak. Below it, a QR code. Anyone who scanned it saw a video, a short film. No faces, just voices, just silhouettes. Stories of bullying, threats, silence forced on the weak. Tyler shoved me into a locker. Luke filmed me changing clothes. Derek told me to act friendlier. I cried for a whole month. I just wish someone had stood up. Hundreds of views just that morning. Some nodded, some stayed quiet, some started to worry. The principal called Samantha in again. This was your doing, wasn't it? No. I didn't post it, but I support it. This is defamation. No one named names, and if someone feels exposed, maybe they should reflect on that. His face turned red. He slammed the desk, threatened suspension. Samantha stood tall. I'm not stopping, and I'm not alone anymore. That afternoon in the school library, a quiet group gathered, not to study, but to act. Samantha scanned the room. Ella was there. So was Mark, the boy once forced to kneel, and June, the girl who changed schools out of fear. Nearly 20 others just like them. We can't wait any longer. It's time to speak. No violence, no drama, just truth. They made a plan to collect testimonies anonymous if needed, to report to the state student protection office, to start a petition demanding an investigation, to recover deleted footage, and to trace the anonymous blog. A week later, everything exploded. Friday, a local news crew arrived at Red Rock High, reporting on the student anti-bullying group. The anchor stood in front of the school gates, behind her students holding signs. We're not afraid anymore. Hear our voices. Silence is not the solution. Samantha was invited to speak. She stood before the camera, eyes steady, voice calm. We're not here to rebel. We're here to reclaim safety, not just for ourselves, but for the ones who come next. We're not against the school. We just want the school to stand on the right side. The town was buzzing. Some parents showed support. Others feared the ripple effect. The school board launched a formal inquiry and requested full cooperation. The principal stepped down temporarily. Tyler, Luke, and Derek were suspended. No one laughed anymore. No more mocking eyes. Only change slow, but finally real. That night, Samantha got home late. Her dad was in the kitchen reading the paper. He put it down. The front page showed his daughter. Sunlight across her determined face. You okay? I'm okay. I'm proud of you. I'm proud to be your daughter. He hugged her. The same hands that once held a mop now wrapped around a girl who had the courage to rise. Nothing left to hide. Nothing left to fear. Just truth. And the strength to keep going. 1 week after the big protest, Red Rock High was different. The hallways felt calmer. Mocking laughter faded. Teachers started paying attention. No more ignoring shoves. No more pretending not to hear. A new club was born, Voice Circle. Samantha was the lead. Ella recorded testimonies. Mark handled media and digital logs. More students joined by the day. Even some who once stood on the other side. One afternoon while posting flyers, Samantha was called to the office. Waiting for her was a woman in gray, blazer crisp, leather case in hand, sharp eyes but not cold. I'm Mrs. Lane from the Department of Education. I've followed your story from the beginning. Do you have a moment? We'd like to invite you to a statewide conference. Samantha blinked. Me, I'm just a student. Exactly, Lane replied. A student who did what adults avoided. There'll be experts from across the state. We want you to speak 10 minutes on how to protect students in schools. That evening, Samantha told her dad. He stared at her for a long moment, then smiled softly. You're my daughter, all right. I used to think I hadn't done much right, but if I raised someone like you, maybe I got one thing right. Samantha sent in her application. A week later, she boarded an early bus. With her were Ella and Miss Dawson. 3 women, 3 generations, 1 mission. The conference was held in the state capitol. Over 500 people attended. Teachers, principals, youth advocates. When Samantha took the stage, the room fell silent. A 16-year-old girl, not a politician, not a scholar, but every step she took cut through the silence adults had left behind. I'm Samantha Lee, daughter of a janitor, once treated like trash. At my old school, no one listened. At Red Rock, it was the same, until I had no choice but to act. Not because I wanted to fight, but because there was no other way. Bullying doesn't start with fists. It starts with silence, with laughter when someone's in pain, with adults turning away. If someone like me can change a school, then people in this room can do so much more. She bowed, and the room rose to their feet, not for a perfect speech, but for truth, for a voice that finally spoke for the voiceless. Back in Red Rock, Samantha was welcomed like a hero, but she didn't care about the spotlight. She cared about what lasted. She trained a small group, not just in self-defense, but in how to respond to mental attacks, how to record, how to preserve evidence, how to ask the right people for help. She taught them this. Fighting back doesn't always mean fists. It means staying calm. It means using your mind. One Saturday afternoon, someone knocked on her door. It was Derek, the boy who once filmed and humiliated her. He stood with hands in his pockets. No smug grin, just a quiet look. I know I don't deserve to be here, but I came to say, I'm sorry for everything. I got suspended. My mom got called in, but none of that hurt like the guilt. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just wanted you to know, I get it now. Samantha stayed quiet for a moment, then said gently, I haven't forgotten what you did, but I believe everyone deserves a chance to make things right. If you want to help, we could use you. Derek nodded. From that day on, he became Voice Circle's video editor. He went from saboteur to messenger. Not everyone changes, but everyone should be given the chance. 2 months after the state conference, Samantha was no longer just a name. Voice Circle had made headlines. Schools from across the region reached out. They asked for curriculum samples, tech advice, even speaking engagements with Samantha. She turned most of them down because she was still a student, but that didn't stop the ripple effect. One afternoon in mid-April, a small bus pulled into Red Rock. Inside were students from 3 different schools. They came to learn how Samantha had done it. She welcomed them one group at a time. Warm smile, honest eyes, no stage, no microphone, just real people sharing real things. She gave them a tour of the school, showed them where bullying used to happen, the blind spots teachers used to ignore. She explained how they reworked the camera placements, how they rearranged cafeteria seating, how they formed welcome groups for new students. Every detail had a reason. Change didn't come by chance. Midway through, someone asked her, aren't you tired? Samantha smiled. All the time, she said, there were days I wanted to quit, but then I remember the eyes of the kid who was forced to kneel, of the girl who bit her tongue in a bathroom stall, and my own eyes from the days I thought I didn't matter. No one spoke, just silence. And in that silence, they began to understand why one girl could change so much. That weekend, a new letter arrived from the Missouri State Board of Education. They wanted to pilot Voice Circle at 10 schools across the region, and they asked Samantha to be a co-advisor. She was stunned. No 16-year-old ever got such a role. Even Ms. Dawson was surprised. I'm just a student, Samantha said. Exactly, they replied. You're someone who did something. We don't want boardroom guesses. We want to learn from the ones living it. Her father quietly placed a hand on her shoulder. You don't have to be grown to do something great. Samantha thought all night, and then she said yes, not for the spotlight, but for the chance to help more people. Launch day. 10 pilot schools gathered at Red Rock. State news stations covered it live. There were officials, principals, parents, and most importantly, students. Samantha took the mic. No script, just her heart. I'm not the smartest person here, or the strongest. I used to be that quiet girl, the janitor's daughter, the one people laughed at, the one they called trash. But today I stand here, not because I'm special, but because someone listened and someone believed in me. If you do that for your students, you'll see miracles. No one is born a bully, and no one is born to stay silent. Let's build education with our hearts first. The room fell quiet. Then applause broke out, thunderous and full. She didn't cry, but many of the adults did. At the end of that month, something no one expected happened. Tyler wrote a letter, a handwritten one, passed to Samantha by Ms. Dawson. Inside, he apologized, not just for his actions, but for the way he'd seen the world. I used to think being strong meant making others afraid. Now I understand being strong means being able to say I'm sorry. I've started therapy. I'm transferring schools next year. Thank you for waking me up. And if you'd allow it, I'd like to start over. Samantha folded the letter, didn't say a word, just looked out the window, where the afternoon light touched the schoolyard, the place where it all began, and where something entirely new was just beginning. June arrived, with cicadas buzzing at the end of every hallway. Samantha walked slowly across the schoolyard, dark blue graduation robe resting on her shoulders, cap in hand, eyes lifted toward the sky. No longer the quiet girl, no longer the shadow in the crowd. Today, she was the one leading the way. The ceremony was held outdoors, rows of chairs neatly arranged. Her father sat in the front row wearing an old button-down shirt. His eyes were full of pride and emotion. Ella sat beside him beaming. Derek stood behind the camera. And further back, a representative from the state education board, along with many faces who once stood by her. When the announcer called her name, Samantha stepped onto the stage. The wind lifted the edge of her gown. She stood still for a moment, then spoke calmly yet with quiet power. I used to believe silence was safe, that staying small would keep me from getting hurt. But I realized it was silence that broke me. I was the janitor's daughter. I was laughed at, had water thrown at me. There were days I wanted to disappear, but today I stand here, not because I'm stronger than others, but because I didn't want anyone else to be afraid. I learned that real strength doesn't come from fists. It comes from speaking even when your voice shakes, from standing even when your legs tremble, and from choosing to love yourself even when the world turns away. If you've ever felt small, if you've ever believed your voice didn't matter, remember this: you are the change this world needs. Start with yourself. Start today. Start right now. And if you don't know where to begin, start with one question: am I doing the right thing? If the answer is yes, then keep walking. Even if you're walking alone. The crowd erupted in applause. Some people cried, some held hands a little tighter, and some young souls, for the very first time, felt like they mattered. After the ceremony, Samantha didn't stay long. She packed up and left Red Rock for college, majoring in psychology and social education, expanding Voice Circle, reaching more schools, helping more kids. 3 years later, she opened a center called The Quiet Rise, a place where once fragile kids learned to stand tall, where every story was heard, where no pain had to be hidden, and where Samantha kept teaching others how to be brave. One October afternoon, she returned to Red Rock. The school had been renovated, more security cameras, counseling offices now open daily, Voice Circle now led by Ella. In the main hallway hung a large photo. Below it, a small plaque in brass. Samantha Lee, the girl who spoke up, the one who made silence impossible to ignore. She stood there quiet, no flowers, no trophies, just one truth: her life had mattered. The final lesson: no matter where you're from, no matter how weak you once felt, if you stand up for what's right, you are already the strongest person in the room. You don't have to be a superhero. You just have to be yourself and never stay silent again.